welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a price reveal on what it cost me to build the Hellcat. A lot of people were wondering what this thing cost, parts, labor, car, etc. So that'll be closer to the end of the video. But today I am getting the Trackhawk Calipers hard coat anodized. So from the factory, Brembo actually hard coats these before they color them. So before they're yellow, they're actually black hard coat anodized. The pistons are as well. The pistons actually weren't that bad. The one caliper was actually pretty savable with the anodization, but in the piston bore, there was actually the seal melted from the fire, and one of the pistons, I had to actually buy two brand new front pistons for the caliper because two of them were actually melted to the seal, and it was very hard to get them out. And in doing so, I actually messed the top up and I just didn't want to reuse them. So I ordered two new ones, and I'll have everything hard anodized the same color. I'm not sure what I'm going to hard anodize it. It really doesn't matter because you're not going to actually see it. You will actually see the rotor hats. One of the rotor hats were actually very discolored. So these things were black, hard anodized from the Brembo that makes them, and it was brown. So what I think is a hard anodization actually saved the aluminum from warping. Everything seems to be true. There isn't any signs of stress cracks or anything like that. So I don't think there's gonna be any issues. Also, when I blasted it, their metal wasn't discolored on any of this stuff. So I think the hard anodization, especially on the one driver's side caliper, the paint was all black, but when I blasted it, the hard anodization, the black hard anodization underneath was not discolored, no issues. The piston bores weren't discolored. The only issue why I wanted to re-hard anodize these was because when I cleaned the seal up, it started to actually scuff the anodization with the emery cloth because they were melted in there pretty good, and I just wanted to get everything, a nice base for the car. So black hard anodization, then we'll color them, but I need to figure out what color I'm gonna do them because I want these to be the same color. So let's throw all this stuff in the Hellcat, get up to Colorado Springs, drop all this stuff off. I'm not exactly sure how long it's gonna take. Usually it takes a couple days, but with all this, virus stuff going on, it might take a couple weeks. Who knows? We're at the place, drop off the calipers. I couldn't get in the parking lot, that thing's too steep. Awesome, he was able to get the calipers done the same day. I did come up here yesterday with the Hellcat, talked to him, he's like, yeah, if you come down in the morning, we could do it, you can film it, which is very rare for a company like this to actually let you film, especially around all the, there's a lot of sulfuric acid and stuff like that. It's really cool, got the whole process of doing these, but that will be in a different video. Just got back from the anodizer with the calipers. In another video, you'll see me powder coat them, but what I'm gonna do now is actually rearrange the shop. So I kind of have, I don't know if I like how this is set up, but I haven't tried it another way. So the cars are kind of just spread out. The VR4 is here, the FD's there, the 240 is here, and it's just, kind of taking up a lot of space that it really doesn't need to take up. So what I plan on doing is I'm gonna remove that workbench over there and pretty much just bring everything within this line right here. So I have this nice workspace in there that's just nice and open. And then I can still park my cars by the garage door. And if I need to pull one forward, I'll still have an open space to kind of roll it forward, work on it, and then it'll give me 4 parking spaces instead of just 3, which will be, I think, a lot nicer. And it'll just kind of make things look a lot more clean, even though it's such a small space. And then I won't just have all this, just won't have these cars spread out for no reason. The VR4, I did throw the bumper on it and the headlights. I have had those off for quite some time. I did paint the hood and the doors in the last few months. It's probably been 3 or 4 months now. I'm still, the issue is I'm still waiting to find some side skirts. The cladding is right there. There's no reason to paint those if I can't find a good pair of side skirts. I do have a passenger one just laying on the ground over here, but even this one I had to panel bond at the top because it was cracked. So if I could find a good set, it would be a lot better than what I have currently, and then I could paint those with the cladding and the mirrors and the rest of the stuff and buff the VR4, and the VR4 will be finally done. But I think I'll just worry about finding a set of side skirts on my trip because I'll be going through a lot of states. which will make it a lot nicer and a lot easier, because if I could, I might just search some of the U-pull yards, and along the way, if I find some, I'll just go grab them, and hopefully I can find a good set. I'm thinking the further east I go, the less they're going to be distorted, because you know, the issue in Colorado is we're so close to the sun that the sun just bakes stuff, and plastics and stuff like that just get destroyed. As you guys saw when I redid the FC interior, the dash was just disgusting, and it was 100% destroyed. So even if I can find some FC interior, I mean, I'm going to be looking for quite a few parts for quite a few projects along the way. So let's start moving some stuff around, get the press and the tire machine over here, get all this other stuff over here, get the cars back, and just kind of, you know, make this thing a little bit nicer. And then we'll discuss Hellcat price. Finished the coating on the calipers yesterday. They turned out really, really nice. I love that that oven works so well. One thing I actually did to it, I had the broil element hooked up on the top, which, as everybody knows, heat rises. What I did was I just switched the wire on the board, so now the broil is on the bottom, so all the heat rises up. And for some reason, when it's on bake, it doesn't actually hold the temperature well, but when it's on broil, it does perfectly fine. So that issue is resolved. I still haven't made a little panel for that or connected a switch to light. I've just kind of been using it, but yeah, I'm really happy with the powder coat oven. Somebody did say I should put a little fan in there. I may end up doing that just to kind of circulate the air around, but yeah, the calipers turned out like that. And I did add the glow additive, and I didn't add it because I wanted them to glow in the dark. It's cool that they will glow in the dark, but during the day, it just adds like this extra little effect, and it just makes them just pop a little bit more, because during the day, they're charging up and they glow during the day as well. So it just makes the calipers have this weird kind of effect. And I did actually put some shelves right here. So what I'm gonna do, I got a lot of stuff off the floor, moved the fan over here, just made me have a little bit more room. A spare tire for my truck's right there. What I'm gonna do with all this bar sitting on the floor is I'm actually gonna make a couple H's and then just have it sitting kind of above this this divider right here, and then I'll just have more, you know, I'll have an open pathway, which is what I've really wanted. It just cluttered. I really tired of all the clutter stuff, and you know, if I get this cleaned up here, then it'll make it a lot easier to move around and do this and that. And then when I come in the door, it's not just a bunch of stuff on the floor, especially this bar, because it rolls around. It's and sometimes it gets me. So another thing is, yeah, when I came here this morning, this hose here, those flex hoses that you get that expand and contract when you let all the water pressure out of them, it burst. So those things it lasted like, I think, a month and a half is when I bought it, maybe a little bit longer, but I've only used it a couple times. And I thought I turned the water off. I usually do, but I was kind of tired last night after powder coating the calipers. So let's get to work on removing this shelf over here, and then I could start repositioning and cleaning some stuff up. And then most likely I'm gonna put the 240 over there, FD in the center, VR4 on this side, and then I'll just have a line of cars instead of them all scattered. So as you can see, that shelf is now gone, or workbench. I never even use it as a workbench, I use it as a shelf. But now I need to get a hose. So the hose that I had from Walmart, that flex hose thing, burst. I need another hose. I'm gonna see if they'll replace it. If not, I'll just buy another one. Then when I get back, I can clean the floor up, wash it, move the 240 over here, and then I could push the 240 probably halfway out this door. Then I'll roll the FD pretty much halfway out the door. Then I can push all of this tire machine, press, air compressor, and then I'll have the oven, the blasting cabinet, and I'll have it in that area. And then I can move the VR4 into its spot. Not exactly sure why I didn't do this in the first place, but I have all three cars just sitting in their new spots, and it looks so much cleaner, and I really can just get to the FD and work on it. There isn't a bunch of stuff around it. And then, I mean, I still have to clean up over here, but I'm gonna put the blasting cabinet up in line with this this pallet rack right here. Then I'll put the powder coat oven next to it, so there isn't a bunch of heat going into the rack and everything. It'll be one out. and then I'll just have the air compressor over with that green one, and I'll still have enough room to pull a car forward and do anything that I want to it, or I'll have this whole area as a workspace. I mean, this is a lot more room. I mean, I can't believe I had cars just staggered in here for no reason. I also could technically pull the FD all the way forward if I wanted to and put another car in here. So I could have 4 cars in here with all this stuff, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go grab something to drink. It's pretty hot today. I'm pretty thirsty now. I've been working on this for quite some time, and I'm really just, man, look at the FD just chilling there. Nothing around it, just looks really clean. The VR4 is chilling there, the 240 is chilling there. I mean, it just looks so much nicer. Still have a few things I wanna do, which it's a lot better. So I still don't have any wood in the top 2 pallet racks, and these 2 don't go all the way to the end. So I need to go probably to Lowe's one day, and how I got all this wood was was defective, and it was very cheap. It's like 20 bucks for all of it. But yeah, I need to get a whole nother 2.5 shelves worth of wood, and then I could actually put some more stuff. I need to put these 2 totes, this is VR4 stuff, I need to put them back up there. I also need to throw the old Hellcat tires up there, and I just need to get rid of those 2 mismatched wheels. One's a Q45 with a brand new tire, and one's the old VR4 wheel, the only good one that was on the car. And I don't know, well, I mean, other than the chrome peeling, but I really don't have any use for it, and I really don't want it sitting around. So I'm really happy that the table is back in there. It was just kind of sitting out for the longest time while I was working on getting the FC fan shroud figured out. Now that that's pretty close, I just need to block the high build primer out, and then I could put some, I'm not sure if I'm gonna clear it or not. I might high build primer it one more time, but I don't need to. I might single stage it, I'm not sure. I just need to make a mold of it so I can make the fan shroud for the FC. But as you can see in here, there is quite a bit more room. So I was thinking about throwing the blasting cabinet over on the other side of the powder coat oven and just have it sticking out, but then the doors on that side. What I'm gonna end up doing is this blasting cabinet is too short. Actually, pretty much everything that they make out there is too short for me. So I'm gonna just make the legs longer and then just put some of these wheels on there, and then I could actually roll it around. And then when it has wheels on it, I might just roll it in front of the powder coat oven, because then when I need to use it, I could just roll it out of the way. So how this is set up right now, I don't know how this is even possible, how there's actually this much more room, but yeah, it's just crazy. So now I have all 3 cars up there, which they really didn't need to be all scattered back here. Now I really can get to the FD, get around it, work on it, you know, figure out the intake manifold, turbo, you know, intercooler stuff, and it just makes it really nice to not have a bunch of clutter around it, trying to work over here in between the shelf for no reason. Yeah, I'm just really happy that, yeah, I have all of this, that table over there. I still can move the 240 pretty far over. My jack isn't here. I guess it's at home or at the junkyard or something like that. But yeah, I'm just really happy. I could also put another car in here, but that would kind of defeat the purpose a little bit. Unless if I move this stuff this way just a little bit, I can almost put a car this way, but that really defeats the purpose. So I'm probably just gonna leave it like this for now. And then once I have more pallet racking, you know, the wood in the pallet racks, and I can put more stuff on the racks instead of just having a bunch of stuff on the floor, I think I'll have a lot more room to go still. We're making the use of this little small space that I have, the best of it, and it's just working out. So what I'm gonna do now is go home. I've been here all day, it's pretty hot, and I just need to edit the video for this. You know, I'm going to go into the Hellcat pricing and everything. I just wanted to get all this stuff done, get it ready, just so I could more easily do stuff when I did the brake calipers. It's just like, yeah, I need to clean this place up. So I'm just really happy that it is clean, and it's going to get a little bit better as I go and clean more and more stuff up. The air compressor being over there instead of over there stuffed with the tire machine, just so much nicer. Now I can get the tire machine. I have this whole area right here. It's just like I just there's not clutter. I could walk down the aisle. There's the shelves down there. The press is accessible. I don't know what else to say, but the lighting is a lot better because now it just kind of illuminates over there. What I had an issue with, it does illuminate over here, but the hood being up, there isn't a light further back. So now I have nice visible light onto the engine bay. So it's a lot easier to work on. I was actually thinking about taking the hood off, but let's go home. I'm gonna eat some dinner, and then let's figure out how much I spent on this Hellcat. I am now back home after getting the Trackhawk Brembo calipers anodized, cleaning up my shop. I really do like the outcome. How everything is set up now gives me a lot more room. I actually have a really large workspace. I could actually put 2 more cars in the shop, but it defeats the purpose. I really do like the area that I made as a workspace, and I still have 3 of my cars down there. It just is the best of both worlds. I have a workspace, I have the cars down there, and it just was so nice to be able to powder coat those calipers in a nice open area. So that video is gonna be its own separate video. It's from when I bought the Trackhawk, the burnt calipers, to them being fully rebuilt and practically brand new. I think it's gonna be a very good series. It's a whole process in a video, and it just is gonna be later this week. So look out for that video. But now what everybody has been waiting for is the Hellcat price reveal, what I spent on it, and pretty much what everything costs and how much I have in the Hellcat. So I'm gonna throw you guys over to my screen capture on my laptop, and we're gonna just kind of go down the list. But before I do that, I have to say one thing. Me and Mopar Online Parts, we're working a deal, so I can't reveal the pricing on that. I'm gonna reveal the pricing of everything at the end, what I paid for the car, and you know, how much everything cost. But I can't actually show you guys the pricing because we were working pretty low, below book on those, and that was just because we were working a deal out. So that being said, I'm respecting them not showing the pricing, and you know, you guys will still get the how much I paid for everything and what it all costs at the end. How much I spent on the Hellcat, if you guys don't remember, it was $24,000, $24,065, which to me, that was a pretty good deal. So when I bought the car, I didn't believe that the frame rails were as pushed over as they were. When I got it, you know, everything really changed. The car was way more damaged than I thought it was, but we still worked through it. I got the car fixed, and to me, it wasn't that expensive. So when I bought it, the buy it now price, I believe, was $22,000. And then after all the fees, if you guys are gonna bid on cars on the auction, they do have fees. There's broker fees, all these other fees that you have to worry about. Don't just bid on a car if you think you're gonna get it for that price. There's always gonna be fees. So look at the fee list that the auctions have posted. Make sure you're not gonna get in over your head. Sometimes if you're bidding on, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 cars, it's 10%. So you'll be paying, you know, like I did. It was $22,000. It was pretty close. It was you know, now $24,000. So after that, I had to ship the car down from Detroit, which wasn't that big of a deal. I could have drove up there and got it, but I really didn't want to drive all the way up there and then drive all the way back. It made more sense for me to just have the auction ship it. Sometimes the auction houses offer a shipping service, so just look out for it. And most of the time, it is a lot cheaper than what you can get it for, get it shipped for from brokers and stuff like that. So I paid $1,146 for the shipping on the car, and to me, that was well worth me driving all the way up to Detroit and back. So I didn't have to do that. The car came in like a couple days, and it was just really nice not to have to drive up there. And I think I was working on something else at the same time, so I really didn't have the time to go drive up there and get it. So I'm also going to skip around because I have some stuff in an order. I kind of want to do the order how I built the car. So we're going to go a few lines down. Now we're going to, before I was working with Mopar Online Parts, I got some parts from another dealer in Tucson. Their first parts, it's kind of funny, they arrived damaged as well. And it was the oil cooler, the hoses, and I think the shroud was okay, but I had to get a new oil cooler because it looked like a forklift in shipping or something hit the core. So what I ended up doing was finally finding Mopar online parts, and then we arranged a deal and started working some stuff out. But yeah, it took quite a while to get that oil cooler replaced from that dealership. So it was just kind of a pain. But those, I think it was like 400 something bucks for the oil cooler setup, because my oil cooler was completely smashed, and I didn't want to start the car until I had a nice clean oil cooler on there, so I didn't lose oil pressure or lose oil or anything like that. So we had the oil cooler on there, started the car up, car fired right up. I was super excited. I had already pretty much stripped the whole front of the car. I cut a bunch of stuff off. Before the car actually started, I had the ABS pump disconnected and it wouldn't start. And then I finally realized the brake lights weren't coming on. So I plugged the ABS pump in, brake lights turned on, car fired right up, and it sounded amazing. So I was just really happy that there wasn't any, underlying issues that I didn't see when cutting everything off, like the engine block being cracked or the supercharger. It didn't look like it was that far push forward, but anything can happen when something gets in a wreck and is hit really hard. So it's never 100%. It's going to be, you buy a car from the auction, if it's wrecked and everything's going to work, especially engine-wise when it's a front-end collision, you really have to worry about it. So after that, I pretty much started working on cutting all the stuff off. I drilled the spot welds out. I placed this huge order right here, which this is all from Mopar Online Parts. I can't really reveal the pricing. So we have the airbags, the support, bumper cover. All the part numbers are right here if you want to pause it and look at it. But we have all of this stuff. It's the radiators, fenders, stuff like that, which I did have issues with the shipping company losing my parts, and I had to file a claim with the insurance. That's why the build actually took a lot longer. It was, half Dodge, kind of their whole parts distribution thing being slow, and then the shipping company losing the parts, and then having to wait for them to write me the check for the insurance, which was ridiculous. It took, I think it took like 6 months just to get the insurance check, and then had to wait for that insurance check to reorder the parts. And then once I reordered the parts, it was another couple months. So it just really set the project back, but we still got the, I still got the car finished in what I think is a timely manner. I mean, I'm not a body shop. It's my car. I'm doing videos. I wasn't too worried about it. The thing I really wanted to do was drive it. But then I had to, once I got everything off of the car and all the spot welds drilled out and I had all these parts, I wanted to get the front end done. So I took it to the frame shop, and the frame shop, the guy I now am pretty good friends with, I guess. It was $2,000 to have the frame or the front end all put on, laser aligned, everything lined up perfectly. It was the best thing to do. I could have slipped in the front end assembly by myself, measured some stuff, but I really wanted everything laser aligned. I didn't want anything dog tracking because I didn't want the car, because I'm putting, the front suspension bolts up to the parts that I had spot welded in, and I don't have the equipment to do it. So might as well have somebody that has all the equipment do that and just get it 100% to where it needs to be. So after that was done, the car went together very quickly. I painted the engine bay, got all that stuff. I had $1,200 in painting materials, and we just kind of go from there down. And let's see, all of this is just hood and everything, all the parts still. So I was painting parts, putting them on, doing this, putting the car together. And then I also had to, once the car was running and driving, before I got the front end, or before I painted the front end stuff, I had to have the AC charged, which was the new system, and I didn't have the connections to do it myself. And I also, which I probably shouldn't have done, that's a whole different story, was I had the dealership bleed the ABS, bleed the brake system. I could have done it myself. I've done it on numerous cars, and I just since it was already getting the AC done, it was only like $60 for them to do it. So I was like, well, they can do it, but then they didn't tighten the bleeder screws, and everybody knows the story behind that. You know, the brake fluid just got all over my car, and we just had issues there. So after I had the AC charged, the alignment done, the brakes bled, the car ran and drove really great, and then we had that issue. But after it was resolved, before it was resolved, I had already painted the front end components. We got all the front end components painted, and then I put all the front end on, which was really, really nice. So that being said, that was $1,200, which I'm just gonna call it kind of a wash. So I'm keeping it in there. I paid it. It you know, it would have cost anybody that took their car down to have the AC charged. The AC was pretty much the major cost of that because of the Freon, because it's the new R134YF, and I didn't have the tools to do it, so I had them do it, which was, I guess now looking at it, I probably should have done it myself. And after it's all said and done, so the car actually, the Hellcat had the sticker from the dealership in it. The car originally cost, the person that bought it paid $83,000 for this Hellcat, which to me, I would never pay $83,000 for a car. Actually, I might pay $83,000 for a car, but the issue with that is the Hellcat, I bought it for $22,000. The DMV doesn't, you know, they don't care about auction fees or anything, so I paid $22,000 for the car. I go down to the DMV, register the car for $22,000. Somebody buys one from the dealership, they have to pay $83,000. You know, they have to pay taxes on $83,000 to register it, which then you have the gas guzzler tax and all these other stuff that is added into that, which I didn't have to pay, which is super, super awesome. And it's just one of those things where if you're buying a brand new car, it's cool. You're paying it. You want to pay that gas guzzler tax. But I bought this car from the auction. You know, $22,000 said and done is awesome, awesome price. So even adding the fees, the $2,000 fees on there, I think the gas guzzler tax is like $5,000. But after everything was said and done, what I spent on the car was, and I guess I could add the shipping in there for the parts. It was $1,500 in shipping for all of those parts from Mopar Online Parts. And the total cost that I paid for the car after everything was said and done was $43,000, $43,500 and some, 44 cents, which to me, that is pretty much half off. And it's, it just goes to show you, I didn't factor in my labor in there. I spent probably, I'd say I spent a month on it, which if I charged, 40, and I didn't work completely a month on it all together, just working on it day to day. I probably worked on it, 8 hours here, 4 hours here, 3 hours here, 2 hours there. So it's not really a full day of work, but if I charged $80 an hour at like, a month, it'd be almost like 22 grand. So, not factoring in my labor, the car is pretty much half off, which is really, really awesome. Anybody can buy a car from the auction as long as you have the funds to do it, especially expensive cars like this. I guess this isn't that expensive compared to, some of the Ferraris and the new Corvettes and stuff like that, where they're a $100,000 car and you're paying like 80 grand for a wrecked one at the auction, or 120 grand like for a Lamborghini or a Porsche GT2 RS. So it is a cheaper car, but that being said, I didn't have to pay $83,000 for this car, and I don't have to pay $83,000 in taxes to register the car, which is really, really nice. And I'm just really pumped on the car. I'm really, really excited on how it came out. The build was awesome. I really enjoyed building it. The only thing that really set me back and I didn't like was waiting for the parts. The same issue that I'm having with the Charger build currently. If you haven't checked out those Charger videos, check them out. The Charger, Magnum, Hellcat, Trackhawk, blah, 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 blah. So that's gonna be the end of this video. I am really excited that the Hellcat is done. I can't wait for the Charger to be done because I really wanna drive it. I'm really happy how the calipers turned out. I think they're gonna really pop on the blue paint. Yes, I am painting it blue. I'm just not sure of the shade. So that being said, if you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.